Today I will share with you a story where the supernatural mixes with our reality. A few years ago I saw the advertisement for a concert that seemed very interesting, and so I decided to go. This concert was going to take place in London, in England, in the house, which was once the house of the composer Muzio Clementi. Clementi was born in Rome in 1752, de Roma, so I wonder if back then people from Rome spoke with the accent they do nowadays. It's quite funny to think of Clementi speaking like that. Actually, I can imagine and picture it in my head. It is also true that by the time he was an adult, his way of speaking could have changed, because at a very young age 14, he came to England. So he lived from 1752 until 1832, a very long time, and he was an extremely important figure in the music history, and especially when we talk about keyboard, and piano. He made many revolutionary things at his time in terms of piano writing. So let's go back to our story. So off I go to this concert. It was in early spring, something like the month of March, yeah, and it was in the afternoon. The day was a normal English day for early spring, especially in London. You have this grey sky, it's a little bit cold, but it's not raining. It seems it's gonna rain, but it's not raining. And so you arrive at this house, which is a privately owned house nowadays. There is a website about it with some pictures, so I will put it in the description of the video so you can have a glimpse at the rooms where things happen. And you enter the house, and there is a room in which you have a Clementi square piano there. And then you have a big living room on one side with a modern piano, and another room, and that's where the concert took place. The instrument used for this concert was a Viennese fortepiano, something like this. So I don't know if the piano was exactly like that one is on the picture, which is Anton Walter, but it was definitely a Viennese fortepiano of that type. It could have been a Stein or another one. It wasn't an original, it was a replica, a copy. Different instrument from the one Clementi would have had most likely in London. He would have had probably an English fortepiano, which is a different type of instrument, yeah, different action and different sound as well. But he definitely met Viennese and played Viennese fortepianos when he went to Vienna. So there I am in this room with other maybe 20 people. It was a small audience, and the concert starts. So there are 3 performers. The first 2 played one after the other, and then the third one after a little break. First performer plays some Clementi. Not amongst the most difficult works Clementi wrote, but very well played, very pleasant to listen to. The way the person interpreted the works and played suited very well the environment and the style and of the music and the instrument itself. Then comes the second performer. Here already you see a big change in the choice of repertoire. Yeah, the person is going to play Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, and Clementi's B minor sonata. So Beethoven Moonlight Sonata, everyone knows, especially the first movement. Clementi's B minor sonata, I didn't know at all at the time, is another monumental work. I mean, they were not easy sonatas to play, but exciting to see someone playing that on a forte piano in the house of Clementi. So the person starts, and I have to say that from the first second something was not right. The Moonlight Sonata, of course, did I have an expectation of how it would have sounded? Maybe yes, but to be honest, I didn't really care. I just wanted to hear some musical sounds coming from this historical instrument, and I just wanted to hear some music. And what it felt to me is that this person was just banging on this poor forte piano and trying to get through the music as quick as possible. I mean, when by the time we got to the third movement of the Moonlight Sonata, I thought the piano was gonna break down. The piano itself, I thought the leg was gonna fall under the instrument and then everything was gonna fall apart. That was my impression. And so the person finishes, and that's when things start to go a little bit strange. Look out of the window and everything starts getting a little bit darker, and then a storm builds up, and then all of a sudden it's chucking it down with heavy rain. So from a grey day we go to a stormy day. I mean, it happens, it's England after all. But then by the time this person gets up, the person was very nervous, and we could sense that from the way the person was playing, goes to grab the score of Clementi's B minor sonata. And I think at that point the man himself turned up. I think he got up from his grave in Westminster Abbey and came all the way, maybe took an Uber to be quicker, and was there. Because at that right moment, when the person picks up the score, the person also slips on a carpet, and only thanks to a very quick reflex manages not to fall with the face on the ground. I mean, you interpret things as you wish. I don't generally believe in supernatural things, but I could not help not thinking at the time that Clementi turned up to prevent this person from butchering his music in his house, like it had just happened with Beethoven's. Obviously Clementi was probably too nice and didn't manage to stop this from happening, and the person went on and played his B minor sonata. You can only guess how it was played. After the performance of the Clementi sonata, I was left in a state of anxiety and tachycardia that is difficult to describe. Luckily, there was a third performer who came on, played some more Clementi, again not amongst his most difficult things, but very nicely played, and concluded with a Nocturne by John Field, Nocturne number 2. I mean, what better music than that to finish a concert and an afternoon. It's almost as if the piano, after having been beaten up, had a nice massage, and so did my soul, to be honest. I managed to leave Clementi's house that afternoon feeling a bit more relaxed. Certainly more relaxed than straight after the performance of Clementi's B minor sonata. So, that was the story. 10, 20, 50 videos wouldn't be enough to say all the things that that experience generated for myself. One thing that was very evident right there for me is that when one makes music, one should probably put aside one's ego and focus instead on the context in which the music is being made, on the music itself, on the instrument, on the audience, on the acoustics of the room. If there is no audience, who is the audience? We are the audience, the person who is making the music. So it was very obvious, all of this, there when as audience I was in extremely close contact, something that we miss in a big hall. We don't have this experience. But there in that small environment, it was something that was very transparent. So in short, the main thing I would say is that when we approach music as a listener or as a performer, I think we should do it with open ears and an open heart. Ciao.
Te fulmino pure a te, i mortacci!